Here is how you solve each of the problems 10 through 14 on the second page of today's practice worksheet on tangents. For number 10, we have this circle, and from our tangent properties right above, we see that if we have two segments that are tangent and they share some outside point, in this case it's point B, then the tangent lines or the segments will be congruent to each other. So since I have 5x plus 23 and I have 8x minus 19, I can simply set those equal to each other. Because AB is going to be congruent to CB, okay? So subtract 5x from both sides, and then add 19 to both sides. And when I divide by 3, I get x is equal to 14. And if you were to plug 14 in for x for each of those, you should get the same measure. With number 11, we're finding actually the distance PQ. Using the same idea, we have some point out in space Q, and the tangents are PQ and QR. They will be congruent to each other. So I set them equal to each other. Subtract 8x from both sides. Add 13 to both sides. And then divide by 6, and I get x is equal to 3. Be careful. This is asking to find PQ, not just x. So I need to substitute in for x. I have 14 times 3, and then minus 13. 14 times 3 is 42. And when I subtract 13 from it, PQ is going to equal 29. Number 12, the same thing holds true. We know that ST, this distance here, will be the same as SU, that distance. But we're trying to find SV, and we'll get to what SV is in just a moment. So let's do what we know. We know that we can set ST equal to SU. So TX minus 41 equals 4x plus 7. Subtract 4x from both sides. Add 41 to both sides. And divide by 6. X is going to equal 8. I need to find SV, this distance here. Well, we know that tangents form right angles with the radius of a circle. So if I use this triangle SUV, there's my right angle down at point U. I know that x is equal to 8, so when I plug in 8 in for x, I get 32 plus 7, which is 39. So one of the legs of my right triangle is 39. The long leg is 39, which is the tangent to the circle. I'm given that my radius is 17. So there's my 17. I'm looking for the hypotenuse, which we will call y in this case. So I have 17 squared plus 39 squared. It's going to equal y squared, which is my whole hypotenuse, the whole distance there. 17 squared is 289. 39 squared is 1,521. That equals y squared. When I add those two values together, I get 1,810 is equal to y squared. Take the square root, and y is going to equal, rounded to the nearest tenth, 42.5. So you had to take your knowledge of tangents, both that they form right angles and that the tangents are equal to each other to solve this problem. We can take that one step further and look at a triangle with a circle inside of it. We want to find the perimeter of that triangle DEF. I know that EH is equal to 16, and as we said before, if you have two tangents and they share an outside point, then they both are going to be equal to each other. So if EH is 16, then EI is also 16. If IF is 9.5, then GF is also 9.5. And if GG is 11, then DH is also 11. And if I add up all of these values, I will find that the perimeter is 73. For this problem, it's a little bit more complicated, but if you just remember that the tangents are equal to each other, it will help you out. I know that from P to the circle to the point of tangency is 23. So the same thing happens on this side, it's 23. I know the whole distance PQ is 37.5. So if I take 37.5 and I subtract 23, I get from Q to the point of tangency as 14.5. And if I take 23 and 14.5, I do get this 37.5 that is shown. That means the other tangent that Q has is also 14.5. We know that from R to the point of tangency, we have a 27.1. So the same thing happens on the other tangent. And if I subtract that from 52.5, I get 25.4, which will also be the measure from S to the other point of tangency. So again, add up all of these values, and I get 180. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can send me an email, and I'll be able to get back to you as soon as I read my emails. But this information, both sides of the worksheet, both parts of the worksheet that we did today in class, you will need for Monday's assignment. Good luck.